Very recently, I was back in North Carolina, where I grew up, and gearing up for a huge cross-country road trip back to Los Angeles. I had brought a lot with me, many pairs of cowboy boots, equipment to film. I had roller skates. I had gotten a new pair of roller skates. I just had a lot, and I needed to weed out, give away some things. I'd also received so many presents, just a lot of special things from special people. My Uncle Dave had also died while I was there, so I ended up inheriting a couple very coveted music-related things, this record player and also a stand-up radio. I nabbed that hula hoop from my mom, which I still can't even keep it up, but nonetheless, I wanted to take that with me. Not that there are no hula hoops in California. So I was just feeling actually quite abundant. And it brought me back to last spring when I visited a chateau in France. So here I was about to pack up a lot of what I owned in a 2-door convertible and drive across the country to create a new home in a 1-bedroom place. I mean, the contrast, while extremely striking and practically laughable, still doesn't completely depict the kind of wealth disparity that there was at that time, that there is now in the United States. So I do not like clutter. I don't like excess. It's kind of interesting. I've been sort of psychoanalyzing that lately and trying to get to the bottom of it all. But anyways, I don't like to waste. And so it was so interesting as I geared up for this trip and thought about my mindset for the new chapter I was about to begin, where I wanted everything in my home to have meaning, everything to bring me joy. For my new home, I really wanted it to be a place where I felt at peace, where it was inspiring, there was beauty, and where everything around me made me happy. So I definitely visualized a home that had things that I loved but didn't necessarily need, but for the most part, things that I used or got value out of on a regular basis, and not a whole lot of excess. So as magnificent as this chateau was, I was looking out the windows thinking about what it would have been like to have lived here, and maybe that I would have felt trapped. I doubt as a woman at that time I would have felt any sense of freedom, of ownership over how I lived my life, all of this wealth, and yet I don't think I would have been happy. And all that wealth would have been tied to an institution, to a man. You know, it hasn't been that long that women have been allowed to even own property. So the tour of Vaux-le-Vicomte Chateau is interesting and theatrical and contains a whole lot more information than this. But I'll just tell you that the person who envisioned the chateau, who had it built, Nicolas Fouquet, well, he lost it all. So from this ginormous chateau called the Vaux-le-Vicomte, here I am. It just makes me laugh. Painstakingly measuring for really the second time the stand-up radio from my Uncle Dave, determined and still hopeful to get it in the backseat of my car and 2,700 miles to the other side of the country. Subscribe now, and then join me on the next episode when I start my 2,700 mile solo road trip across the country.